there, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Tina from Tinaheals.com, and if you have your Mars in Aquarius, then welcome, this is your video. So Mars is a nocturnal planet. He does better in night charts, not so good in day charts. If you have your sun at the bottom of your natal chart, then you have a night chart. At the top, you have a day chart. So Mars, the day ruled by Mars is Tuesday. The color is red. And the metal he rules is iron. Okay, now Mars is excessively dry and excessively hot, right? And if you really look at it, there's a dangerous component to Mars. He rules screens, lies, deception, volcanoes, earthquakes, soldiers, warfare, aggression, vitality, libido, and whatnot. Okay, so Mars is actually quite multi-layered. It's not just easy to at least my work with Mars has shown Mars to be way more multi-layered than he's made out to be. And he rules Aries in Scorpio, and he's in exaltation in Capricorn, 28 degrees. He's in fall in Cancer at 28 degrees, and he is in detriment in Taurus and Libra, two of the Venus signs. So when you look at the classifications of Mars, the keywords for Mars, you will see that they always come in contrast to Venus. Okay, like Venus unites, Mars separates. Venus is a marriage, Mars is divorce. Venus is conception, Mars is abortion. So you know, that's how it works. So the ancients named Saturn the greater malefic and Mars the lesser malefic because these planets operate in extremes. They tend towards extremes. Whereas the benefics, the greater benefic Jupiter and the lesser benefic Venus, they operate with moderation. That is why Buddha taught of the Majjhim path or the middle path in the Venus-ruled age of Taurus. Isn't that sublime? So the antidote for Martian energy is moderation of all sorts. The way to, you know, live life actually is very productive if you do it in moderation. And Aquarius actually does not know moderation. It is fixed air, and it is ruled by Saturn. So thereby again Mars dawns on the person of Saturn, and he has this certain gravitas about him, but not of the same kind as he had in Capricorn, okay, because Aquarius is eccentric. So Mars in Aquarius is eccentric. This is the mad scientist archetype of Aquarius, you know, the innovator who knows no rules. And he knows no rules because he's already mastered those rules in Capricorn, and now he's ready to break the rules. Because it is said that, you know, if you know something well, you can break the rules. If you know the language well, you can break the rules of grammar, for instance, for certain writers. You know, it works that way. If you understand composition, you can recreate composition and abstraction just by understanding the mechanism of composition. So in Aquarius, Mars is interested not in the composition, but how to break away from that composition and create something new. This is futurism. This is futuristic. This is AI. Right? When you think of Saturn as a boundary, think of Saturn as a boundary, and what it encases within is Capricorn, and what is outside is Aquarius. So Mars here is very much the outsider. And the Sephiroth that Mars is connected is Gevura, and it is the fifth Sephiroth, and the Pythagoreans thought that the number 5 was diabolical, and they called it nemesis. So sometimes Mars can become our nemesis if we approach it through the eyes of ego. But when we really look at Mars as pure energy radiating from the sun, then we realize that Mars is how the sun seeds thought forms and ideation into humanity. Okay, so that's why Mars has a symbol of a phallus. He's phallic because he is the seeder, you know, and we are the womb. He's seeding us. He's seeding the 3D world with all this raw primeval intelligence from the sun. So that's why Mars is phallic, yang, outgoing. Okay, and the keywords for Mars, if you really look at it, uh, war, aggression, power. There's a huge component of power, because Aquarius, being fixed air, has a tremendous, I know it all and my way or the highway. There's not a lot of giving with Aquarius. So Aquarius Mars may be interesting, eclectic, whimsical, but there's not a lot of giving with this Mars energy. There's not a lot of, yes, there's connection to the greater idea that there'll be a utopia and all of that, but giving in personal one-to-one, there is not a lot with this Mars, because this Mars wants to hold on to what it wants to hold on, and there's Aquarius, as I said, has its own set of rules, because it knows all the rules in Capricorn, and now it's got its own manifesto that it's written, and it is this and that, okay? So Aquarius does have a set of rules. Now, courage. Aquarius is a sign that is a great visionary and has a tremendous amount of courage and does not get flustered by anything. So Mars here is actually intrepid. He's a warrior, but he's not a warrior like in Capricorn, a physical warrior. He's a warrior of the mind. He's a futurist. He is thinking about algorithms. He's thinking about abstractions, because there's no one quite like Aquarius who does abstract thought, okay, and understanding of larger concepts or mathematics. This is a great placement for Mars to dig into the mathematical profundity of reality, of given fractals and all kinds of fractal geometry and stuff like that can be really, really perfect for this. Of course, strength. With Mars in Aquarius, the strength is tremendous, because fixed sign, although air moves and scatters, but fixed air retains and holds. And Mars here has that fixedity, has that fixed movement, and that staying power. But there's something very eclectic, very eccentric, very futuristic about this Mars that can be very, very appealing. And he's the iconoclast, because he can stay outside that barrier and he can take notes. He can be very objective, because he's wearing the person of Saturn, remember? So violence, yes, Mars and Sagittarius, some of the greatest war minds, because they understand strategy and they understand warfare. Mars and Aquarius, there's understanding of destruction, and they don't feel the destruction of a few people if it's for the greater good. Let's just put it that way. They can be very cold and detached. Okay, they could be studying human beings and doing live subjects and experimenting on live subjects, doing vivisections, and not flinch, because they are so clear in their understanding that, okay, this is going to harm these few people, but ultimately this is what's going to happen. They can do animal experimentation and they won't flinch, because they know that this is for the greater good. Some of them are motivated by the good, and then of course you have those very evil Saturnine, and Mars rules lies and deceit, and Saturn as well. So the two malefics over here can play havoc as well and make you a dictatorial, megalomaniacal psychopath. It's very possible, okay? Winning and coming first in Aquarius, it's always about the mind, because Aquarius is about the cerebral realm. Everything is happening in the realm of ideas. And how to take abstraction and concretize it. Okay, that concretization, crystallization, that is Saturn. But Saturn is also the Negredo phase. So with Aquarius, we always have this dark night of the soul that is somehow perpetually following the Mars in Aquarius. And Mars is on a hero's journey, remember? So in Aquarius, he's set forth to conquer realms that no one has seen, that nobody knows of, because Mars activation happens through fire. It's like a matchstick, and then fire separates and creates something, and air adds to fire. So this is a good scene. Aquarius is feeding that fixed air to the Mars fire. So go on, do something, execute it, complete it, walk that path, right? And there can be a deadly stealthy component as well to Aquarius, Mars in Aquarius. Don't forget that Mars rules the water triplicity and is the higher octave of Pluto. So of course there's a death, destruction and rebirth that's constantly playing with Mars in Aquarius. And Aquarius, if you really look at it, is the water bearer pouring the wisdom and knowledge from celestial realms and giving it to humanity. So that is the quest that Mars has to take on over here. Mars has to realize that this is the time, he's here to bring forth those waters of cosmic knowledge, because this is where the Pleiades constellation is, right? This is the, I mean, if you look at the star card, Pleiades is Taurus, but you know, I always think of the Pleiades, but you have this very beautiful fixed star Fomalhaut in Aquarius, and it's called Satavisha. So there's a very healing component to Aquarius, since Mars in Aquarius can tune into its surgeons, yes, abstract thinkers, you know, future thinkers, people who create AI, people who interact with AI, stuff like that. Very, very futuristic ideas that people may not understand, because Aquarius, Mars in Aquarius loves to you know, loves people, but in the larger sense. Aquarius being the 11th house is a more larger sense, and Mars in Aquarius needs surreal experiences. There's just something about Aquarius that wants contact, of course, with human beings. We know Gemini, Libra and Aquarius want contact, but there's a surreal component, not dark component like a Scorpio, but there's a surreal component to Aquarius, and that Mars feeds off over here, you know. And essentially Mars here will be searching for universal truths and not necessarily you know, holding on to old traditions, because Aquarius has already learned that Saturn here takes on another role. He's like, okay, in Capricorn I've gone through all the traditions, and now what? Now what's beyond that wall? Aliens, you know, going excavating after crop circles. Sounds like something Mars in Aquarius would do, okay? But they can be very quirky as well as offbeat. So offbeat that, you know, people do not readily associate with the Mars in Aquarius archetype, okay? They can be very bossy, know-it-all, like I said, stubborn and arrogant. And there is not a lot of compromise with Aquarius. Gemini is too distracted for compromise. Libra, all it wants is compromise. But Aquarius is the sign of the individual as well as the sign of the community. But it is about retaining your individual essence in a larger collective identity. So, you know, yes, I am a part of the whole, but I am me. And I add to the whole by being me. You know, so this dichotomy of being an individual as well as being a part of the crowd is always playing out with Mars and Aquarius, you know. And they can be very aloof. So they're not a very friendly sign. They can be very aloof, very distant, and doesn't mean that they hate you or anything. It's just that they are very distant, and they do not always open up. They can be very jokey, very, you know, humorous, but they always have a dark, saturnine humor. Aquarius, you'll see, they're never like Mars in Sagittarius kind of jokes, or Mars in Gemini kind of comedy. So the thing that Mars wants to do is, yes, it is very much the Nikolai Tesla archetype, very much the mad scientist archetype, but here Mars wants to interface with what is unknown, what is beyond that wall. So drop me a comment, like, press the bell icon so you can get notified when I upload. And please let me know what you think of these videos, and book a reading and check out my merchandise. Thank you.